My speech for a minute until I mute it. Always a nice feature. Okay, so I have to mute this. It started muted. That's great. Okay. Well, greetings, everybody. I'm Harvey Ferdman, president of the Maryland Heights Township Democratic Club, and we have Sydney Jackson, co-host of this meeting. Sydney is the president of the Creve Coeur Democratic Club. Sydney, if you want to say a few words of greeting.
Sure. Thank you for joining us this evening, everyone. We have a pretty full agenda and I'm excited.
Yeah, we do. Um, okay, and we will start with the customary Pledge of Allegiance. Once again, as soon as I can get everything to cooperate here, things move around again. Here we go. If you'll join me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And yes, we did land on the moon. Okay. As soon as I can find the stop share button. Okay. So I'd like to begin with any elected officials or representatives of elected officials who are on tonight. If you would like to take a moment and introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everyone. I am Councilwoman Nicole Greer from the City of Creve Coeur and also your Creve Coeur Democratic Township Committee woman. And I do have updates from the Central Committee whenever Sydney and Harvey tell me it's appropriate to give those.
Excellent. We will get to that. Connie, you
Um,
want to introduce?
Connie Steinmetz. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but I mean, I even like put makeup on and everything, so it's kind of disappointing. However, Connie Steinmetz, I'm a state rep for the 87th and just got back from session last Thursday. So
Okay,
whenever
we're
you,
beginning. Yep, thank you. We'll be getting an update from Connie shortly. I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, you're good.
Any other elected officials or representatives of elected officials? Anyone who's running for office at this point or representatives thereof? Okay, with that, we will proceed starting with local. I think the most local office would be Nicole. If you'd like to give us an update, that'd be great.
Okay. So from the St. Louis County Central Committee, I think you all, well, hopefully most of you all are aware that we did have our gala Saturday night. I will say that it was difficult to be celebratory with all the things that were going on, and rightfully so. We did receive some criticism for um, continuing to have the gala under the circumstances. But, you know, at that point, the money had been spent. So there really wasn't a whole lot that we could do about that. But with that being said, we did commit to giving calls to action to the community because we know our folks are going to need some help and some support. Um, Representative Applebaum just texted me right before the meeting and said that she could not be on here, but that she is collecting supplies. There's a list. I'll see if I can get that dropped in the chat. It's on my phone right now and I'm on my computer, but there is a list. So if anybody wants to drop off supplies. And then I also know that like the community, in addition to supplies, will need money and muscle, is what I call it. There's a lot of work to be done. This is not going to be a sprint. This is going to be a marathon. It is going to take a very long time to do all the things that will need to be done to help rebuild our community. Um, we are still looking for subcommittee members. You do not have to be a committee man or committee woman to be on one of the subcommittees. Um, I think probably the biggest need right now is fundraising, the fundraising committee. We are in the process of planning St. Louis City County Democrats Trivia Night. So if you want to mark your calendars, that's going to be on June 21st at 7 p.m. The location will be IBEW Local 1, and their address is 5850 Elizabeth Avenue. So if and the prices are on the website, stldems.org. And if you all would like to have, I think it would be nice if we could have a Maryland Heights Creve Coeur table, Maryland Heights Creve Coeur Township table at the event. I love trivia. It's always a lot of fun. It's a way to, get in the room together and fellowship and just have a good time. So like I said, more information about that is on the website, or you can contact me if anybody would be willing to coordinate a table for the two townships. I think that'd be great. Also, I want to let you all know that the STL County DIM store is live again. It's only going to be live for about 2 more weeks. So if you're like me and you don't have your gear yet, I've been asking for this for a very long time because I see people wearing these cool t-shirts and sweatshirts and, that say fun things like turn the whole DIM County blue and all those other kind of things. I think there's also some Where's Ann graphic t-shirts in there as well. So that's currently open. Same website, stldems.com. And then we mentioned this last month, and I just want to remind everyone that the NAACP Freedom Fund Dinner is going to be on June 14th. This is the county NAACP's biggest fundraiser of the year, and they use these funds for scholarships. And I see Rep Steinmetz got her camera working. That's really all I have. Of course, if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me via email, via phone, text. I'll put my information in the chat. And that's all I have for tonight. You're on mute, Harvey.
Oh, boy, okay. Thank you. I just want to ask my co-host here, Sydney, if you could pull up STL County Dems store when you get a chance, and maybe we can show what's available there. I was trying to do it and fat-fingered things too much.
Yeah, I should have it right here.
And you should be able to share.
Right. Okay. Share.
But those are a lot of good events coming up. Let's see.
Oh,
there we
and
go.
while she's pulling that up, I will also put this ask out. The Central Committee would like for the townships to do some type of fundraiser. They're not, it's not anything that's major. So what some of the townships are doing are just having like a gathering where you charge $25 to come and just the get together. Like the Post is one spot that I thought about that we could do it because they don't charge for their private room in the back. So if we wanted to have at some point plan a just a social, really what it would be, and just have people donate $25, and then that way we could, especially since we meet virtual every month, it would be a way for us to all get together in the same room, and also invite folks that we have not met yet that have been interested in our township clubs. It would be a way for us to have some face-to-face time with them. So just kind of think about that and let me know what you think, or if you have any ideas, or if you'd like to plan something with me. But it looks like Sydney's got the store on the screen.
Yeah. So it's not in a very intuitive place. When you get to the website, it's under fundraisers. So if you're looking for it, that's where it lives. And then you click the button that says the store is currently open, and it is open until June 5th at midnight. So these are all the things on the store. There's a lot more. I think they said that there's a lot more colors and different designs this time. So there's some cool stuff. You can even get some things in, like a pink. And there's we haven't made it there yet, but there's a Where's Ann design somewhere on here.
Can you pause for a second on one of the eye charts? I'm trying to see what that says.
On which one?
The eye charts, if you go back a couple of shirts. There we go.
Oh,
One of
it says
those.
do something.
Oh, do
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't see
cool.
those earlier. I looked at it earlier. I didn't see those.
I like that.
Yeah. And then I was looking for there's gloves off, and then I was looking for the where's and it's somewhere on here.
Okay.
It's kind of far down there. These also say do something, so a little bit of a different design.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Well, I know what I'm going to buy.
And then there's the where's Ann one.
Oh, wow. Good caricature.
Mhm.
It's like Waldo. That's perfect.
Yes.
So
Huh.
there's lots of different options. We haven't even made it. We've made it probably halfway through. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Okay.
things
Well,
to check out.
I think people have I think people have the flavor. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's very, very interesting. Um, I like the idea of a table. So if someone's interested in coordinating that, please either let Nicole. I'm already buried with a lot of projects right now. So if you would let Nicole or Sydney, if I can volunteer you, if you let someone know or let me know and I'll forward it on. But I think that's a great idea. It would be great to have a table and get together and share some snacks and maybe even win.
Yeah. I
Never
love
know.
trivia. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Um, okay. Uh, as far as the fundraiser gathering, I like that idea too, to do something at the post. It's relatively inexpensive to get a sandwich and hang out. So I'd be interested in working on that with you guys too. And
Okay,
see,
maybe after June, since we're having the trivia night in June, maybe we can do that in like July.
yeah,
Or, August before everyone, goes back to school and things like that. Gets busy with
yeah.
school stuff. So,
Okay. I think it's a great idea.
all right.
Um, okay, so we covered electeds, we covered Nicole. Are there any other major issues that the Central Committee is working on or at this time? I guess not. I also invited um, our county council rep, Gretchen Bangert. She was unavailable, but I will hopefully maybe next month we'll get an update on county council and their activities. Um, okay. Moving on, next we would have Connie Steinmetz, if you would like to give us the view of Jeff City from Maryland Heights.
Well, sorry for the green grass in the background there. I didn't really mean to do that, but since I was having trouble with the video, I was afraid to touch anything. Um, so I was a freshman this year, and I appreciate all of your support. It was exactly what I expected it to be, and even more. It's not easy being the super minority, but we made it through. Um, so legislation, House Bill 495, which was the St. Louis City Police takeover, and that will go into effect on August 28th. And there will be a 6-member board. SB 4 utilities, that was the reform, and that allows the utility companies to set rates based on projected future cost. It's supposed to improve our energy infrastructure, and then also, well, basically that's it, to build electricity stuff, or power, whatever. There is now, from that bill came a solar energy equipment taxation. I think it's 5%. So I think it was like if you had solar since, I want to say 2012, you could be taxed on that. And also, the utilities cannot cut off anybody. They must wait for 72 hours. So that was all in that bill.
Okay,
The one that really, I mean, these all are just whatever. The abortion rights repeal referendum that would ban most abortions after 12 weeks. And even then, you have to have like a police report and all of that. It's ridiculous. And then it also bans gender transition procedures for minors. That will go on the ballot again in 2026. That was very, very aggravating because people voted. People voted for it. And they would say, oh, they didn't know what they were voting for. So and the transgender thing wasn't even on Amendment 3. Okay. So anyway, there's probably going to be a special session to deal with stadium incentives for the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals. They brought that in at the last minute. The last minute they brought that in. And we were all like, we don't know, you know? So there is going to be a special session to deal with that. DEI, I don't know why they're so against DEI. The state budget, 53 billion. However, the Missouri House Republicans refused to vote for 513 million for construction projects. That was interesting, annoying, and aggravating to see that happen because there were some really good things in that bill that would have, or in the budget that would have been very helpful to a lot of people across the state. We didn't know that we weren't going to bring it up. It was just decided. I guess there was some in-house arguments or something on the Republican side. It wasn't the Democrats. We'll never know the real story. So there was that. They did put a $300 million increase in the foundation formula. And then 107 million to revamp the child care payment because the people that were providing child care, they were not getting paid. And so that was just adding up and made it made it hard for them to run the business to pay their employees and their other bills. They have also put $50 million into Most Scholars, which is where parents can use that to pay for private education. There was a property tax exemption for disabled veterans. So those were, and then Prop A. I have no words. I have no words. So I will, Mark Powers from the House sent this out today. And Harvey, I'm happy to send these documents to you if you want to share it with everybody. I can send them out to you. Well, maybe not my handwritten notes, but I'll send you a little cleaner thing.
Okay.
So good legislation that passed. The education funding, child care subsidies, stunt driving, which I don't know where I was when that happened. I think I did hear a little bit of it. Prison phone calls, racial profiling, violence against Black women, organized retail theft, circuit breaker, which expands the circuit breaker tax credit that helps offset property tax for elderly or disabled homeowners. Period product, we called it the pink. They'll eliminate state sales tax and period products and diapers. Foster kids. You know, I sat on the Children and Families Committee. I thought, oh, that's going to be such a fun committee, right? Or, you know, heartfelt committee. Well, you always take a box of Kleenex with you to that committee. That's where all of that Amendment 3 nonsense came through too. But I guess the state, so like if you were a foster child and your parents had been in the military, then you had things that you had money that would come to you. But the state was taking that money to pay for the foster care that you were receiving. And we got that passed so that they can't do that anymore. The child marriage, you can't get married in Missouri until you're 18. It was 16 and now it's 18. There was a lot of debate about that on the floor. One gentleman said that it would cause more abortions if we passed that through. The Crown Act, which establishes the creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, which I think is really, really good. So some of the things that we wanted that didn't pass was the capital improvements that I talked about earlier. They didn't put it through. The presidential primary, absentee voting, divorce proceedings. So if a woman is pregnant and she wants to get a divorce, she cannot get a divorce until after she gives birth. That came through Children and Families too. And you hear those testimonies, it's outrageous. I'll go on. And then there's bad legislation that passed, private school vouchers, St. Louis police takeover, earned sick leave, and I'm not going to call it earned. Earned sick leave. Yeah. Not paid. I mean, you have to earn it. It's 30 hours for 1 hour. So, reproductive rights. And anyway, there's all kinds of things that went on down there. It's very interesting how it works. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, I'm happy to try to answer them. Not sure what you guys wanted to hear, so I won't take up any more time unless there's questions. Well, that's good.
Julie, I do have not so much of a question, but I guess asking if you would report on this when they, I don't know if they're gonna call a special session about the stadiums. My understanding is they're asking for $500 million plus some other future tax abatements or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the question I have is, our border with Kansas is a fenceless border,
Mhm.
right? There is no border fence,
Right.
even though some of us may like it on one side or the other. But in any case, if you've ever been in that area, there really is no distinction. It's kind of all developed together.
Right.
I'm assuming that, well, the question I have is, if they build these two stadiums, are they going to impact the hotel revenues and restaurant revenues on the Missouri side? And, not knowing the physical location of where they're going to build these, it's hard to
Yeah.
tell.
Right. And those were those were questions that we had also, but we were not given enough time to ask questions. Like I said, they brought that in on the 11th hour. Like we didn't even know that it was coming. We had heard rumors, like everybody had, that the governor wanted this, but there was not enough time to ask questions or even like read the bill, and also that was not vetted through a committee. It did not come through a committee. So there were no questions asked in committee or any testimony or anything. So it will be interesting. I know that this is something that the governor wants. And I spoke to Union, and they're really not taking a position because whether it's on Missouri or Kansas, they're going to get the jobs, right? Well, hopefully. And so it's a tough decision. They bring in a lot of revenue into our state, but from what I understand, it would allow the state to issue bonds that are covering like half of the project. And then also 50 million in tax credits.
That's it, yeah. So it's a total of
Yeah,
$550 million.
right.
More than we got from the Ram settlement. Okay. Well, thank you, Connie. I appreciate it. Did you have anything else?
The other thing is I'm having a coffee with Connie this Saturday. I have been doing them in Maryland Heights, but I'm doing one at Panera Bread from 10 to 11:30, and you're going to ask me which Panera, and I'm going to have to look that up, and I'll put it in the comments. So, I like the job. Like I said, I get frustrated, aggravated, but you also have these opportunities where you feel like you are helpful to people. My biggest thing is we had the Girl Scouts from the Eastern St. Louis, and they came down and I introduced them from the floor, and there was 120 of them, and they were working on their democracy badge. And so I introduced them from the floor, and said, well, I was a Girl Scout and I never earned my democracy badge, and I think I should have one. And lo and behold, I had a box that came to me that had Girl Scout cookies and the badge. I was so happy. So anyway, I love when people come in and talk to me. I even had a Republican who came in and chatted with me, and he had actually worked for John Ramo, my opponent, and he, yeah, he's on my Capitol report now. I mean, yeah, he was in the Capitol report, and he also he got really aggravated with a Republican on the floor when he was watching, and I got that all straightened out. So anyway, thank you,
Thank you.
Harvey. Feel free to always contact me. I take anytime, anytime. And I will keep you posted about the chief stuff, the stadium stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an interesting situation. Thank you very much. And
Thank
thanks for
you.
your service. Next, I would like to ask Laura Gordon with Indivisible to talk about some of the upcoming events. Laura, I think I'm going to take a moment while you get prepared and put up the calendar that Indivisible has. I don't know what it takes to make entries into the calendar, but give me a moment here as soon as I can click the right buttons. I
This is
will,
the STL Cal that Don Crozier maintains, is that right?
yeah,
Okay, I can give you a little information. This is a calendar that Indivisible We Will Persist maintains, and that group is headed by Don Crozier. He is fantastic, and if you want to get something on that calendar, the best way is to send it to Don.
okay. Do you have his contact? I just looked at
I
it briefly. I'm not sure if there's, oh, well, it says add to Google Calendar. So, well, I don't know
Oh,
what
there
that
you go. You can do that too.
Well, that's adding it to, I think, our personal calendars as opposed to making an entry. Yeah, so I'm not sure there's a way to reach out to Don shown here, but the point is, folks, this is stlcal.com, and then it translates and sends you over to here. But look at all the stuff that's on there. It's just absolutely amazing. Although somehow this looks like it says Chicago that it took me to. Am I in the wrong place?
He adds a lot of things to that calendar, and there might be some standing events.
Yeah,
It's almost too much sometimes.
yeah, this has Clayton on here. It has Tri-County Labor is local, St. Charles stuff is local. So this does look like a local St. Louis area calendar. Lots of things going on, folks. It is stlcal.com. I believe just about all the organized protests have Indivisible's thumbprint on them in one way or another, so they're probably all on here. And with that, I will stop the share and allow Laura to continue.
Can you allow me to share? Is that okay?
I can, yeah, let me do that. It's really weird how I have to do this. Let me just
I
do this.
know. I will introduce myself while you look. Hi,
Yeah,
I am Laura Gordon. I recently stepped into the role of co-lead for Indivisible St. Louis. It was a very sudden transition for me, but I have spent the last few months trying to rebuild the group. And one thing that we are doing, and I think that we're doing pretty successfully, is leading protests through the area. And there are a lot of groups protesting in St. Louis, and that's fantastic. When I first got active, I had this idea that we should all protest together. You know, we should get 10,000 people in the city on the Capitol. We should all be protesting. And after getting some experience on the ground and meeting people, I have realized how wrong that idea is, right? You know, we have this idea that protests are most effective when we all come together in one spot, but we have a number of protests coming up, and we've had protests in the past where we've had people in different locations throughout the city, and we find we still get good media coverage. But more importantly, we are able to represent Democrats in areas that you don't normally see protesters. And so we had a protest at Manchester and Weidman for Hands Off. Hands Off was a very big national day of protest. And so we went out to Baldwin, and I was the first one to say, like, what are we doing? Why are we protesting in Baldwin? Who wants to stand in Manchester? And I was so profoundly wrong. And we heard back from so many people thanking us for coming out into the county. They were so excited to see Democrats. They were excited because it means we might be able to get rid of Ann Wagner. And it was also accessible. So I don't know about you guys, but when you're in the county, it can be intimidating to go into the city, especially when you know parking will be challenging. Having these events out in the county makes them accessible. If you have any kinds of disabilities, or it's harder for you to walk long distances, it's a lot easier to get to these events. And I wanted to let you guys know that our next big event, and this will be a national protest all over America, will be the No Kings protest. And so I think I can share this. There we go. So I have a whole, so the Indivisible St. Louis is my group. And this is the No Kings protest. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yes, maybe. Okay, and so No Kings will be an opportunity to get everybody back out in Baldwin and have them have them represent Democrats, have them be seen by people who do not normally see Democrats. I mean, one of the big kind of changes for me mentally was realizing that if we go protest in the city, we are protesting in front of people who already agree with us. And so by moving this into the county, we're able to get way more visibility, represent people who do not get represented. And I am getting distracted by my own screen share. Is this working? Can you guys see? Okay, sorry. You think you're technically with it, and then you just can't figure out Zoom sometimes. So there we go. So we would really encourage you guys to sign up. I'm going to drop that Mobilize link into the chat. So if you're interested, I would recommend bring signs, bring friends. We'll be out there from, I think, 11:30 to 1:30. That way we get a lot of traffic on Manchester. We get a lot of like lunch traffic, people going to the stores. we have learned that it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission when it comes to parking. So we will have everybody, you can park in the lots for, the Menards, the Home Depot, and the stores along Manchester, and just walk down. We got a lot of honking and excitement last time, and that was a really successful event. We do have one other education program tomorrow, just to give you guys a heads up. Another component of what we do with Indivisible St. Louis is we are trying to offer some educational programs. So my co-lead Amber Benj will be hosting the 5 things that you can do now. And park it. Yes, that's a great place to park. UFC, I did park there and that was great. So I will also drop this link into the chat. And so she'll be hosting it tomorrow, and we're going to have Flip Davis from Respect Missouri Voters come and talk to us about the petition initiative, ballot petition. My brain is scrambled today, but so if you have time, I encourage you to drop in tomorrow, and that's all I have today.
Well, thank you. I also want to point out that the June 14th event is Trump's military parade on his birthday day.
I try not to talk about him, but yes, that is the thinking.
The head of the current administration. And the cost, I'm looking at a couple of different sites here, CNBC and the Washington Post. Let's see, Reuters. All of these folks are saying that the price tag is going to be somewhere between $30 and $45 million. And I'm surprised that Elon Musk is not shutting it down. So we need to maybe petition Musk to shut down that wasteful spending.
I'm not sure he shut down any spending but that would be great if he were that useful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good example of something that we don't need, and it's wrong. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. Oh, before you go, I'm also on the agenda to talk about the Gateway Democrats. As many of you know, I'm co-chair and founder of that group, and our mission is to build momentum in between elections to give people, folks, things to get involved with. A lot of people right now are getting involved with the protests. That's great. We also would like to see folks get involved with the advocacy groups. We've run a number of successful events in the past, drawing as many as 425 people and 32 advocacy groups, and we got great feedback on it. People were able to go around to the tables and figure out what's what, who's who, and what they're interested in, either learning more about or getting involved in. I was approached by Laura, gosh, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I guess it is now, week and a half, because Gateway is planning another event in July. And it turns out that Indivisible had a similar idea, and we share a common advisor who said, hey, why don't you two work together? So I ran it by my advisory committee, our advisory committee. Laura ran it by hers, and we are going to work together and have one heck of a huge event. This thing should draw, we're anticipating 600 plus people, and right now, without disclosing too much, the idea is going to be to have people sign up in shifts so that it's not too crowded at any one time, so you can come at different times throughout the event, get to meet people at the table, get to meet our speakers in person and on Zoom. So it's kind of, we don't want this to be too crowded and people standing in lines. So we're working on the logistics of that and working out a venue and a date, probably sometime late July. Stay tuned. Very exciting event, and you'll be hearing a lot more when we as it solidifies. But you can see Laura shaking her head and smiling, and me too. This is going to be a memorable, positive event for everybody, and hopefully give folks a way to do something. I mean, that's the whole idea. The last event Gateway ran was called Do Something. And it worked. We got a great response, and hopefully we'll keep doing this. Stay tuned. Okay.
Love the do something shirt though. That just, I'll close on
The
that. That
do
was a great
something
shirt.
shirt. Yeah, well, I got to go get at least one, maybe a couple of those.
Same.
The our next speaker, and thank you, Laura, and thank you for all you do. Her co-chair, by the way, is Amber Bench. A lot of you folks know Amber too. Very good contributor to our educational process, MOEP, etc. Our next speaker and presenter is Yvonne Reeves Chong. Yvonne is the vice chair of the Missouri Democratic Party. She can talk about messaging and some of the other great things that the party is doing, some of the initiatives. I think it may be somewhat common knowledge that our CD2 race has now gotten the attention of the National Democratic Party as a potentially flippable seat. Very exciting, and the state party will be working, coordinating on that, etc. So, choose hope, everybody. Choose
Yeah.
hope.
Well,
Yvonne, the floor is yours.
and this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna just choose hope. We're gonna craft a plan and we're gonna execute. I love me some Barack Obama, but at the end of the day, hopes and dreams ain't gonna cut it. It's gonna have to be perspiration and shoe leather. That's what's gonna save the day. I am the vice chair of the Missouri Democratic Party. I think I recognize a lot of names here, but those of you that don't know me, I am from Pulaski County, Missouri, so I live out near Fort Leonard Wood. I am in the center of the state in deep red country. So you CD2 people that are looking magenta, man, y'all just don't know what hurt is. We've got tough times out here, but this is what we do know, that before there's any hope for me out where I live, we've got to flip you and let the blue bleed to the west. So CD2 is going to be on our radar, but I want us to all start thinking about this race differently. The only way we are going to win CD2 is from the ground up. Now, I am positive that we're going to get a great candidate, but I need you to know that candidates cannot win races unless people like you carry them over the line. Win, lose, or draw will depend on what you do. And that's going to depend on how we talk, how we work, and how we move. I think I'm going to share a screen. Can you screen share for me?
Yeah, hold on a second. I gotta do the permission thing here.
Okay.
It's not the simplest thing the way they have it set up. I'm gonna say that.
And you guys, if you'll excuse my coughing, once again, we've got another storm coming in, and the barometric pressure is changing as we speak. I keep looking over because I'm seeing flashes outside my window. So we're gonna go through. Up here I am. And what do I need to share? Oh, bless your little stick. Okay, I kind of feel, there we go. I feel like Laura in that all of a sudden, I can't figure out technology. So, obviously, big thing. With the overturning of Prop A, I need all of us to start saying it is not paid sick leave. Payment is somewhat of a gift. This is earned sick leave. You work for it, and for every, I think it's 30 hours you work, you earn 1 hour. So what the Missouri legislature is taking away from us is something we have earned. Now, from the day it's signed, well, actually, from the day it went into effect until August 28th, all of us will be earning sick leave. What our legislature forgot to contemplate is what happens with what you earned on August 28th. Does it get taken away? So that is something we need to look at. I always do like to give credit where credit is due. These are the intellectuals and the thought leaders that have shaped what I'm saying today. And I'm going to give them credit. I am not brilliant. Each one of them is. Starting in 1973, the Republican Party very intentionally started to brand who Republicans are. And they put all of their policy positions under an umbrella of strength. And so if you'll go back and you'll think about not only what Republicans are saying, but how they talk about things. When they're talking about immigration, it's a very aggressive stance. When they talk about the war on crime, gun rights, military spending, they are taking very strong, proactive, definitive positions. Now, as good liberals, we're paying attention to their policies. But one of the things Dr. Drew Weston and others have figured out that if you take a classic liberal and the classic conservative, believe it or not, our brains are actually wired a little bit differently. Just like they say male and female brains light up and process information differently, so do liberal and conservative brains. So while our liberal brains are listening to the details of their policy, conservative brains are firing and picking up on the strength of their messages. And if you'll look at the Republican platform and the Democratic platform, you can see it in their language. They're going to bring back the American dream, defeat inflation, protect seniors. And if you go to the Democratic platform, we are rewarding work, lowering cost, tackling, securing. But have you just pick up on the differences of how we use language? And more importantly, if I do an analysis on those two platforms, the Democratic platform has a grade level score of 13.1, meaning that you have to be a college freshman to understand what we're saying in our platform. The Republican platform, 6th grade language. So while our brains are wired differently, here's our deficit. Only about 30% of Americans are wired the way we are. The rest of America is wired to receive information the way conservatives process information. That doesn't mean that they're conservatives. It just means that when we are talking amongst us, we are speaking our own language. We are speaking French, and we are talking to a country full of Germans. And that's why we say Democrats are so bad at messaging. Well, we're speaking French to Germans. We're speaking freshman college freshmen to people who are processing down at 6th and 7th grade. Now, I do want you to say, please do not hear me say that voters are stupid. They are not stupid. Voters are not stupid. Yes, they do not understand the intricacies of platform, of our policy, but I bet if you went and asked them for Mahomes' passing stats, they could give you a full season rundown. They are not stupid. People pay attention to things they're interested in. Most people aren't interested in politics. We are the weird ones. Because Republicans have branded themselves as the party of strength, and Democrats haven't really paid attention to branding, and we're, strengthening and lowering and securing. And dear God, it sounds to the world like, y'all, we are trying. Democrats have been branded. Our DNC chair just ran another study poll last month, and it came up as the same poll about 4 years ago. The number one word associated with Democrat is weak. The number one word associated with Democrat is weak. So this explains what we see here in Missouri. People like our policies. They're not stupid. Heck, 2018, we turned back right to work, 35-point win. Just last year, abortion rights won. Earned sick leave won. At the same time that our statewide candidates are losing by about 20 points. It's not that they don't like our policy. Y'all, they don't like our brand because our brand is weak. And Republicans play off that in their ads. But it is true nationwide. So we need to reframe what we say and how. A lot of this is going to be based on Don't Think of an Elephant by George Lakoff. What we need to understand is words operate independently of the sentences you use them in. So when we try to fact check, every time Trump says something stupid and we say, did you hear this stupid thing Trump says? We have reinforced the stupid message. Trump said it once. We said it twice. We say it 3 times. Guys, by the time somebody hears something 5 times, they have now established it as fact. And unfortunately, the way we handle information, they'll say it once and we repeat it 4 times for them. Reactions. We cannot amplify disinformation by repeating it, even if we're repeating it to try to debunk it. When we hear words, your words are going to drop in to their most familiar buckets. And I'm going to pick on one of my least favorite framings that liberals do. Christian nationalism. Christian. 90% of Americans have a positive association of Christianity. So as soon as you hear Christian, your brain flips over to the positive box. Nationalism. Most Americans do not know what nationalism is, but it kind of sounds like patriotism. It flips over into the positive head box. So now we've taken 2 words that have dropped into a positive headspace, and we're going to now try to argue to people that it's a bad thing. So you're automatically telling people to accept information that goes against their gut understanding of words. And that's an uphill battle. So when we say read a book or see something that says Musk blames Ukrainians for cyber attack on X, experts aren't convinced. What the average person now remembers is Ukrainians cyber attack on X. That's what's stuck in their heads. When Donald Trump says he won a mandate in the 2024 election, that's in the eye of the beholder. Trump's victory was clear, but by historical standards, it was a landslide. And I think this particular sentence was in the Washington Post. What the average American now remembers is Trump mandate, victory landslide. Your brain does not grab onto the negatives. It grabs onto the keywords in a sentence. Musk calls Senator Mark Kelly a traitor. Kelly pushes back. Mark Kelly, traitor. That's what stuck. They actually did a what's that called? An experiment where they gave people a list of facts, 30 facts, and they told them up front which of the 30 facts was true and which one was false. 30 days later, they presented them with another 30 facts with some of the stuff that they had previously been told was false. And people, because it's the second time they see it, were much more likely to mark what they had been told up front was false as true because of recognition. And then 90 days out, they marked virtually all of the untrue statements as true, simply because it was the third time they'd seen the same statement. They didn't hold on to the fact that it was a false statement. It just operates by repetition. Message discipline wins. People believe what they hear first and often. So, Republicans, it's really annoying. If you watch the Sunday news shows, it is just, they're like automatrons. You can't tell which one is which because every single politician, they are saying the exact same thing, and we think it's horrible. They're brilliant because it works. In exit polling in 2024, voters overwhelmingly gave Donald Trump more credit for the work he did on infrastructure than they gave Joe Biden. People actually thought Donald Trump did a better job on infrastructure because he talked about it every week. Every single week was infrastructure week. He kept saying it so much, we used it as a joke and a punchline. But the people were believing it because he kept talking about it. So we have to earn benefits, not entitlements. Public insurance, not handouts. Earn sick leaves. Say this, not that. Words matter. We had just a brief exchange before I started this on Doge. I'm going to say be very, very, very careful using that term. Because as soon as we start talking about Doge, we are reinforcing their message. If I have to refer to Doge at all, I call it the barking dog that couldn't bite. It ain't got no teeth. It was a whole bunch of noise. Try not to use the word Doge, because our minds connect Doge to government efficiency. The Republicans have created that link. I wish they hadn't, but they did. So most people now do not think of Doge as a negative. That ship has sailed. Be careful of using it. So do not associate Trump with dictator. Don't associate inflation with Biden. Well, why shouldn't we call Trump a dictator? Why shouldn't we call him a tyrant or a bully? Stop and think about it. What is the Republican brand? Strength. A bully, a tyrant, a dictator. These are all people that by definition are stronger than you are. Every time we say tyrant, a tyrant is all powerful. That's their brand. We are actually selling the Republican Party for them. The average voter is not turned off by it. Do not say vaccines and autism in the same sentence. Medicaid with work requirements. On the surface, people ain't mad at work requirements. Stop saying it. Do not put immigrants and crime in the same sentence. Don't say Social Security with entitlement. Now, I'm going to say this is a pet peeve. If I came up to you guys and I called you entitled, did I say something good about you? Are you happy that I called you entitled? Social Security is not an entitlement. It is an earned benefit. It is retirement security. It is retirement savings. That is your money. It is not an entitlement. We've gone through the bully. Be careful of fraud, waste, and abuse associated with the government or Doge. Billionaire, oligarch, the average person has no idea what those, what an oligarch is. They do not know what that word means. And billionaire, gosh, who is the singer? I want to be a millionaire. So people aren't mad at millionaires or billionaires. They want to grow up to be one. Be careful. Do not dims and disarray. Stop the circular firing squad. Stop trashing Democrats. Stop hammering our brand. It's the only brand we have to run under. So, DEI. I don't know who picked an acronym that was that close to the word die. Dumb. I mean, you can't look at that word and mentally not think die. Equity. Equity is something you have in your home. Your car has equity. That is a financial term for the bulk of America. They don't know what you mean. Of course, the CRT, they define that. And then there's my favorite, Christian nationalism. Okay, defund the police. That one should have made everybody's head hurt before it came out of anybody's mouth. And of course, let's not say fuck guys, because come on, guys. We can think it, but let's not. If you have to explain what a term means, you have already lost the argument. If we are explaining what things mean, please understand, what everybody says, Democrats are so preachy. Well, that's entirely because we keep lecturing from a course they did not sign up for. Say what you mean. Mean the words you say. 6th grade language. I'm going to go through. If you're going to talk about Trump, traitor, con man, liar, chaos, small, weak, confused, diminish him with your language. Make him puny with your words. And stop and think. Isn't that what they did to Joe Biden? That's what they did to Joe Biden. They defined him as weak, mumbling, stumbling with their words. We can do it too. That's not a one-way street. They're not deportations. It is not a deportation. It is a kidnapping. It is disappear people. And y'all, I know you're in a magenta area. I'm in a bright red area. If you come up to me with your face covered in plain clothes to put me in an unmarked car, buddy, it's on. Now, you might get me in that car, but you better pack a lunch because it's going to take you all damn day. We do not play like that. These camps, they're concentration camps. Be careful of this one. It can be inflammatory. So be very careful where you use that language. Every time you talk about Medicaid, you talk about rural hospitals, you talk about kicking grandma and grandpa out of nursing homes. They say Medicaid, you say nursing home. You say rural hospitals. So, Elon Musk, please call that child creepy. He's just weird. He's just completely weird, y'all. He gives me the icks. Tariffs, trade war. Trump, trade war. Vaccines, life-saving. Health security. Hardworking immigrants. But we can be very, very careful. When you talk about public education and public schools, talk about community. Community. If you're trying to defund public education, you're trying to kill my community. Because I'll tell you, the town my son grew up in, the only institution in the entire town is the school. It's K through 12, one building. Good old Lakeway, Missouri. So these are the things, and I will email this to Harvey. I know I'm burning up a lot of time, but we are now going to pay attention to how we talk about ourselves. We are going to brand ourselves as the party of courage, bravery. He's like, well, Yvonne, why don't you just go with strength? Because that's like the pick me kid. Me too. We're strong too. We're not going to do that. We are going to brand them. We want to make MAGA. Oh, you want to go back to the good old Leave It to Beaver 50s where you were safe and you didn't get your feelings hurt? We're the party that's got the bravery and the courage to win the future. These guys are wanting to crawl back into some old hole because they're small. They're puny. They're afraid. If they go, yeah, but what about them trans people? Ooh, what are you afraid of? What scares you about that? They're fearful. We're courageous. And so all of our issues that we talk about, we're not changing issues, people. We are not changing what we believe. I know that after the last election, there was some talk about Democrats went too far left. Democrats went too far to the right. No, we didn't. We are who we are. We believe what we believe, and we're not moving. We are the party that understands that liberty and justice means all. That if it's for all, and if it's not all, then it's not for anyone. But we're going to start standing up for what we believe, and we're going to start saying it with our whole chest. When it comes to a contest of values, we win. And I need you guys to start walking and talking like you know that. Okay? That is the end. If anybody has any questions. Okay, yes, I'll sit.
Are there any questions? Yvonne, this was a fantastic presentation. I want to give you permission right now to download our video if you need any permissions on our YouTube channel. I think
Okay.
it would be really a service to all of us if this portion of our meeting was cut out and made available to all the clubs and anyone who wants to. I mean, you hit it right on the head. This is perfect. And I can't think of a better way to get it out there to as many people as possible as to get that
Thank
video.
you. Yeah.
Cut and clip the video and send it out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, is what I'm talking about being done on a national basis? Yes. Yes, it is. So.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, when it comes to and I love them, yes, we're doing it on a national basis. But I will say we do have to keep smacking, like, because old dogs keep slipping back into old things. And it's like, yo, guys, that last email, word salad, do it again. So we are getting better. We are getting better.
I want to,
Okay.
oh, if you want to respond to comparing
Um,
Donald to Hitler,
You know,
it's
I'm torn on it.
inflammatory.
You know what? It
It's
is.
inflammatory. Yeah.
It is inflammatory. However, we have to, and this is a deeper conversation we have to have. Given the alarming nature of the path we're on, we need to use that language carefully, because I'll be honest, when I hear a conservative try to weaponize African slavery inappropriately, it pisses me off. So be careful of the language you use, but I make no bones about it. This is indeed the path we're on. When you can even ingest. Yeah, go ahead, Harvey.
Yeah, if I can throw my 2 cents in, I think that
Yes.
I think the appropriate comment is that it's Congress's job to balance the executive branch and keep it in check. And we need to get on Congress to make sure that they are keeping the balance of power and the executive in check.
I love that. Now make it 6th grade level.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Make it 6th grade level.
Um,
That's the challenge. We
Yeah.
need to be able to respond to those in a way that's accessible to everyone.
Can I
But
just
you've got a
interject?
good point.
Can I interject a further addition to my question about Hitler? I am currently reading the book Mein Kampf, and
Yes.
it is, I'm almost finished with it. I mean, it's a 600-page book, but it just floored me going through it chapter
Yeah.
by chapter. It is Project 2025. It is.
Yes.
Exactly. It's
Yes, it is. It very much is. I'm not mad at comparisons to the path,
Okay.
but be very careful about the language you use.
Okay,
I don't like guys grabbing women off the streets. That does not equate to what the brown shirts say. And the trouble is, it's like Chicken Little. You know, it was that the sky is falling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. If you say that too much, when the sky really starts to fall, nobody will heed your words. So that's why I'm saying be cautious.
I just,
Um,
can I add one more thing? I just finished reading the part where Hitler's talking about how women don't need an education except for they need to learn how to be a mother.
yes. Oh, yes. That natalist.
Yeah.
Who knew that was a thing?
Yeah.
Who knew? Hey, Bets.
How are you doing tonight? Make it
Doing
my-
well.
You know what you're talking about, this sixth grade level communication
Yes.
and all. I happened to just glance over Ann Wagner's newsletter today,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know who would read this, who would really understand it. I mean, she's at a higher level, and she seemed to have missed that she lives in the state of Missouri outside of St. Louis City. No mention of our tornado and our tragedies.
Yeah.
Her entire email, her newsletter.
Mhm.
How do you stay
Yeah.
with a population when you
Yeah.
don't even acknowledge when your community is suffering?
I will tell you, as tone deaf as that sounds, we need to recognize that for the average voter, they actually think less of us. So that's why we need to wrap our heads around how we talk and how we communicate and get out there and start talking to everybody. I'm going to point out something that happened. Does everybody remember the shot of Eric Schmidt at Congress? I think it was the Pete Hegseth's hearings. And he had the large sign behind him that had military misspelled. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do you think the chances of a Ivy League school educated attorney with Ivy League educated staff misspelling the word military on a 3x5 poster? What do you think the odds of accidentally or inadvertently misspelling that word is? Do you think it could have been a trap that we walked into? Because then all of us liberals jumped on social media and made fun of his misspelled words and reinforced the narrative that we were a bunch of elitists. And so the story on Facebook became this misspelling and not Pete Hegseth's absolutely incompetence. Sometimes we walk into traps and they know us better than we know ourselves. Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, thank you. I was just wondering, are you available to give this talk and presentation to others besides, townships?
Sure.
Okay, can we
Sure.
just contact you about?
Yep. Just reach out to me.
Okay.
I did about 60,000 miles last year. I'll get on my horse anytime.
Oh, we could do Zoom. I'm with
Yeah.
Conversations for Political Change, and
Yeah.
we have Zoom meetings. This would be a perfect presentation.
Sure. I can
Okay.
do that.
Great,
And-
thank you.
And by the way, I want to point out that Yvonne is a 100% volunteer. So thank you, Yvonne. That's a lot of miles
Yeah.
and it's much
That was-
appreciated.
Yeah. I'm dumb as a brick. It's like, be vice chair. It'll be fun, they said. No, I honestly, I've got 3 grandkids. And I did not ever think I would live to see us where we are.
I have a suggestion, if I can share the screen and get your opinion on wording. Is this simple enough? If I can, where to go? I have so many windows open right now. It's kind of a little bit distracting. Here we go.
And I'm going to apologize. I know I went so far over time.
Oh, no, this has been well worth it and appreciated. Instead of saying, talking about being pro-choice,
Mhm.
think of this: a woman should have the right, not a right, the woman should have the right to decide when and with whom to have a child and not to be forced to carry an aggressive offspring.
I actually am kind of with Tim Walls on this. Mind your business and your body.
Okay.
I'm just right to the point. Mind your business and your body. I come from a very strong faith, evangelical background. So I will add, coming from my background, God is God and you are not, but out.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So I'd ask,
Yeah.
because I did hear a speaker about democratic messaging saying we have to stop using the terminology that we all know what it means, but no one else knows what it
Exactly.
means. And we have to replace it with emotionally charged words.
Emotionally charged, but I'm going to say
What's that
conservatives,
mean?
yeah, as liberals and Democrats, we talk to people's heads a lot, and we also talk to their hearts, but they're tending to make decisions in their gut.
Hmm.
So punch them in it. Punch them in the gut with your words. Short, sweet. I always say, don't explain or argue with idiots. From a distance, nobody will be able to tell which is which.
Well, your statement reminds me of something my brother used to say to me. This is mind your business and your body. He used to say, um, my right to swing my fist stops where his chin begins. And
Exactly.
short of that, I don't care what another person does.
Yeah. I used to actually use that saying a lot during COVID.
Yep.
Hey,
It has
you have
guided
the
me a
right
lot.
to be as
Yeah.
sick as you want to. You do not have the right to infect me. Keep your little bugs to yourself.
Yep.
And here again with COVID, I would not use the word virus. I'd always use the word bug. Keep your bugs to yourself. And if you kept doing that a lot, or if I had to explain, mask, I would liken it to head lice.
Hmm.
You're entitled to have head lice. You're not entitled to share your head lice with me. And if you say the word head lice enough, they start scratching their heads. And then once you get them to scratching their heads, they tend to understand why they can't share their bugs with you.
Yvonne, I'm planning also before we conclude the meeting. I don't know if I hope you're familiar. I don't know if you are with fivecalls.org.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
going to do a quick demonstration of that. Would you like to make any
Okay.
comments before I bring that up?
No, I tell you what, I will, and I'm going to have to jump off, but I will tell you, I use 5Calls. I am a firm user of it. Um, you know, e- Everybody, every single one of us should do it.
And it's so easy,
Oh,
so
yeah.
easy.
Yes.
Well,
And
thank you. If there are any other questions, we can do that, or you can I give out your email address in the or did you
Yes,
want to put that
absolutely.
before you go, you want to
Absolutely.
just pop that in the
Yeah.
chat? And thank you. And again, I think you should be volunteer of the year.
Oh, I think
This is
we will get
fantastic.
there, and honestly, thank you. I really do appreciate it, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of 5 calls. Let me make sure I have that on my screen before I share it. I have it queued up. Okay. And I need my share button. And it is hiding over. Okay, where's it hiding, guys? I'll find it in just a second. Got a lot of things open. 5 calls, where'd you go? Here. Okay. So this is 5 calls, and since my computer knows who I am and where I am, it set me automatically to Chesterfield. If you do this, especially on your phone, which I highly recommend you do it on your phone, it figures out who your representatives are, especially Congress people, and then it gives you a list of things you may be interested in, Protect Library of Congress, etc., Pentagon budget, all these great things. Now, one of the things I want to point out, yes, we're in Missouri and our representatives are primarily Republicans, but if you know people in Democrats who have Democratic representatives, they can use this also. The Democrats, like they need reinforcement. They need to hear from their constituents that they're on point, doing the right thing, etc. And the other thing is, it does not take a lot of constituent emails, phone calls for a congressperson or state representative for that matter. I don't know if Connie is still on. She may want to comment on that. But when I was working with Bill Otto, who was a state rep, if they got 6 calls on a topic, then they knew that there was something that they had to brush up on and get into and look deeper into, that there was a lot of concern within their constituency, because most people won't take the time to do this. So when a few people do, it's kind of an early warning system, canary in the coal mine, so to speak. So they do pay attention to small numbers. So your calls make a big difference. And then once you click on one of these, Protect Library of Congress, it will pop up and it will give you some ideas of what to say. Let's see. And then it gives you the representatives for you. You can click on a representative and it gives you the phone number. Now, this is why I say it's great to do it on a cell phone. On a cell phone, if you click on this number, it'll call the number. Can't be easier. Go to the website. It'll self-identify where you are, who your representatives are. Pick your issue of the day. Click on it. Get a quick short script. Put it in your own words. Read it. Doesn't matter. Here's a real short script. And then click away, and it'll dial it for you automatically. I can't think of anything simpler to have your voice be heard. And right now, it's really important. There are people that do at least one of these a day. If you've never done it before, pick a day of the week and try to do at least one a day. Just put a little reminder on your calendar. It's real simple. And if we all do one a day, it will have, starting with one a week, it will have an impact. One a day would be fantastic. So that's my 2 cents. I want to just go through a little bit of a wrap up on the meeting. But first, does anyone have any announcements, comments, things they want to share?
Harvey, I just wanted to comment on, it really does make a difference. I always encourage people to call, text, email, write testimonies, because it really does make a difference to legislators. I mean, I read all of it. And so please do that. And then that app is awesome. I love it. It's super easy. And then I put it in the chat, but at the Coffee with Connie on Saturday, I will be collecting supplies for the victims. I'm going tomorrow I've been busy buying stuff and donating that. But the Coffee with Connie is very easy. It's just we talk about whatever you want, any suggestions or anything. But if you do decide to come, which I would love for you all to, please just bring some diapers or some wipes or some Clorox or something like that so that we can get those supplies. Nicole, I think, put a list on in the chat. So any of those things would be helpful. So thank you.
Excellent. Any other announcements? We'll handle some comments at the end of the meeting. I just want to recap. June 21st, combined city-county effort, which should be a lot of fun. Get to meet our cohorts in the city. June 21st trivia. And that is on the, I believe it's on the county website. That is, well, I don't want to mess it up. Nicole, name of the county website, County Dems.
It's stldems.org.
Okay, so that'll be on stldems.org. Again, stldems.org, you got the store, which is closing soon. So get your fun swag. The NAACP major fundraising event in the evening of June 14th, same day as King's Day, organized by Indivisible. You can check the calendar. It's easy. It's at Ann Wagner's office, basically, Weidman and Manchester. You can check the calendar, stlcal. I have down.com. I think it's stlcal.com. And then please, 5calls.org. So we have a .com and a .org. 5calls.org, real simple. Do it on your cell phone, so it'll automatically dial for you. Lots of good things to get involved in. And then one other thing that we are working on for a future speaker, there are two groups working on voter initiatives. One of them is to protect Missouri voters, and that is to make sure that we still have access to the voter initiative before and prevent the tiny irrelevant legislature. Did I do that right? From the tiny legislature. I don't know if the tiny minds in the legislature. I don't know how to do. I got to work on the messaging thing, how to refer to those. But anyway, to prevent them from making the voter initiative petitions virtually impossible. A quick statistic: more people voted for Amendment 3, legalizing abortion in Missouri, statewide, than voted for Josh Hawley. Think about that. Think about that. There's more progressives out there that voted for that than voted for Josh Hawley. That is just a mind blower. So we have a lot of challenges. And again, it kind of proves the point about messaging. So we need to be strong, come across as strong and determined. And that's one way to do it. Let's see, if you're interested in in organizing, being a point person, or just participating in a table with for the trivia night, reach out to, I guess, me, Nicole, or Sydney, and somehow maybe an actual leader coordinator will surface. Did I miss anything? This has been a very productive meeting. Lots of good. Oh, the other voter initiative that's taking place, or thing around voter initiatives, is Crystal Quaid has started some sort of movement that I think is still kind of being fleshed out and defined. I'm not sure. And that is to utilize the voter initiatives to get appropriate legislation passed. So we have one group focused on protecting our right to use it, and another group looking at how can we use it to move the state forward, given that more people voted for Amendment 3 than voted for Josh Hawley. So we have an opportunity to affect our governance without necessarily raising the backlash of those Democrats. Anyway, tis what it is. Any other, now we'll just open the floor for comments, closing thoughts. Sydney, you want to wrap anything up?
No, thank you all for coming. We had a pretty packed agenda and it was all good stuff. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Be aware of inclement weather, storming again.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I know that there's requests being put out for donations. I also heard Catholic Charity president or whatever on the radio today saying that they do really well with money because they know exactly what they need. They know how to buy it and you know, at good prices. And if you want to donate money, to make sure that you're donating to the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, you're donating directly to a group that you know has been around for a long time. Because there's a lot of little pop-ups they're worried about showing up on Facebook, etc., trying to scam people. So I don't know what other. I see Nicole making a face. You got did that
No,
not land well?
I'm hearing something outside the window. That was what the face was.
Oh, okay. All right,
I
folks.
think we're
With
all a
that,
little on edge right now.
I'll leave the meeting open for another couple of minutes for people that want to save the messages, the chat, and we'll go ahead and conclude the meeting. See you next month, third Monday. Thank you all. Be well. Be safe. Be active.
Good
All
night.
right. Have a good night,
night.
everyone.